Hello. This is the Nerd Squad crew, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're bringing you an awesome budget build of a deck that revolves around one of the ST13 leaders, Blue Yellow Ace. If you don't know what Ace does, his ability says that you reveal the top 5 cards of your deck and add a 5-cost character to the top of your life pile face up. He does have the caveat that at the end of your turn, you have to trash any face-up life cards you have. Don't worry though, because this basically means that with some of the combos we have in this deck, Ace could be a massive 9k leader on your turn and a good defensive 7k on the opponent's. Since we do focus on budget builds on this channel, we're using 2 of the starter decks to make up the bulk of this build, and we're going to be adding in some other cards from other sets to make the deck more consistent. Let's jump in with the cards you'll find in the starter decks, starting with our Searcher, the 1-cost Monkey D. Garp. He has an on-play ability that lets you search the top 5 cards of your deck to reveal and add 1 5-cost or lower Luffy, Ace, or Sabo card to your hand. Garp is very important in this deck since he helps us to find the cards we need to set up combos. He also makes a good attacker if you're going first since there isn't much to do if you're on your 3rd Dawn turn. We also have the 1-cost event card, Three Brothers Bond, which has the same effect as Garp. Next up, we have the cards you'll be wanting to find with Garp in the event, those being the 2-cost baby versions of Luffy and Ace. These guys are the meat and bones of your combos. Each can, when they're activated, send themselves to the trash so that you can reveal the top card of your life. If that top card is the 5-cost bigger versions of themselves, you can put that card straight into play and give your leader a plus 2,000 power up until your next turn. Speaking of those 5-cost versions, we have 2 versions of each of the 2 brothers. From the starter deck, we're running the 7,000 power Ace that gains Rush when he's played if you're at 2 life or less, and the 6,000 power Luffy that lets you trash a life to give himself plus 2,000 power until your next turn. These 2 combo nicely with each other as well, since you can use Luffy's ability to make sure you get down to 2 life so that your Ace can get his Rush activated. With them, we're also running the 5-cost OP07 Luffy that, if you're on 2 life, lets you trash himself to KO an opponent's 4-cost or less character and draws you a card, as well as the 5-cost OP07 Blue Ace blocker that lets you draw 2 cards, then place 2 cards from your hand, either on the top or bottom of your deck. You can use this Ace to either filter cards out that you don't need, or use him to set up combo plays for your next turn by placing a 5-cost and then a baby version of one of the brothers to the top of your deck. Rounding off the starter deck cards, we have Makino, who not only has a 2k counter but also has an on-play ability that lets you add the top card of your life to your hand. It also lets you rearrange your life pile. She's great for letting you add the 5-cost card to your hand that you added with your leader ability in case you don't have the baby versions of that card yet. The remaining cards that make up the deck play more of a supporting role. Since we need more 2,000 counters, we'll opt into playing the 5-cost Satori from OP05. Since he's a 5-cost character, he can actually be added to life using your leader ability as well. We also play a small count of OP06 Kozuki Hiyori. Just like Makino, she lets you add the top card from your deck to your hand, but she has the added effect to let you then add a card from your hand to your life pile. You can use her to add the 5-cost brothers to your life in case you need it and set up your combos that way. OP06's Charlotte Pudding is another card that will help us defend against the opponent. When she's played, she makes the opponent shuffle their hand back into their deck and draw a new 5-card hand. Next, we have our boss characters. We'll be playing the OP07 Boa Hancock, who lets you select one of your opponent's characters and stop them from attacking the following turn. We also have the OP05 10-cost Kato that lets us draw 4 cards when he's played if your opponent is on 3 life or less. Finally, we'll play just one of the new OP08 10-cost Edward Newgate. He makes it so that your opponent will have to discard 2 cards from the hand each time they want to attack on the turn after he's played. Lastly, we're running just one Gravity Blade Raging Tiger as a defensive option. Some options you could include in your deck if you're missing any of the cards we mentioned could be the 6-cost Edward Newgate from the starter deck, as well as the 5-cost Yamato. Both make good additions to the deck and can easily be substituted in. There's also the blocker EB01 Viola that lets you turn all your face-up cards face down, turning your leader ability into a healing one. Of course, you could also add the missing third brother, Sabo. He has a 2-cost and 5-cost card from the starter deck as well. We don't include him here for consistency's sake, but please feel free to add him if you'd like to. Here's the full deck list. The list can also be found in the description so that you can try it for yourself on the sim. Let us know what you think and if you have any other tech cards you'd include. We have some gameplay up next if you'd like to see the deck in action. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel so that we can continue to put out more budget decks like this one.